How so?
It just reminded me of Kanye West's song that said, "I love myself way more than I love you."
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking out loud.
Self-love can be selfish in the sense that as everything it could be obscured, it can turn into this thing where now it's all about me.
Wait to the other side, like, I don't care about anyone. I just love myself. And they tend to use that as an excuse for a lot of, crap.
Because it's the same way, maybe like when you ask someone to do something for you and they tell you, "Oh, I can't," you'd be like, "Oh, that's no problem."
Right.
You need to be able to tell yourself that. And I
Why
think,
would you hang a picture on the mirror anyways? I mean, you can already see yourself.
bro, that's not the point.
Yeah,
That's not the point. Setting boundaries is actually a form of self-love, and there are a lot of people who actually don't know how to do that. Don't know when to say no to people, because saying no is actually a form of self-love. Hey.
Hi.
Oh,
Welcome.
thank you.
Thank you.
As you all know, I am Cindy Lily, and with my co-host
Davis Noah.
And today we have a guest who has been here before.
Sharif, aka Kwadwo Picasso.
Hey,
You're always changing the name.
Is it your name?
Let me mind my business. Let me mind my business at this point.
No, yesterday I went to change it at the courtroom, so.
Good for you. Congratulations.
Oh, yes, thank you guys.
You're welcome. On today's topic, self-love.
Well,
Self-love. Why are you laughing? What's funny?
It's a very interesting topic.
How so?
it just reminded me of Kanye West's song that said, "I love myself way more than I love you."
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just thinking out loud.
Do you love yourself way more than you love others?
Way more than I love you, for sure.
But other people?
Yeah, definitely. I
mean, I think
it's not like I do love you anyway. So yeah.
Oh.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
It's a bit.
My brother doesn't love me. Okay, we just move on, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you think it's selfish in some way?
It can be.
How?
Self-love can be selfish in the sense that as everything it could be obscured, it can turn into this thing where now it's all about me. Whether it has to be or it doesn't have to be, it's all about me. Always, every day, all the time.
But is that self-love then?
It's not. That's why I said it could be obscured. But then people still call it self-love, which is the issue. It could become very, very selfish to the point where it's not even self-love anymore. Because if you can't love yourself and love others like you love yourself or even close to, then I don't think you're actually loving yourself, because we're social beings. We need people.
Okay.
So if you can't get along with other people and it's all about you all the time and all of that, yeah, it can become very selfish. So yeah, it depends.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, I think he's right. I think self-love can indeed become selfish. It's like, for an example, right? Someone who has felt worthless for a long time, someone who has a low self-esteem, all of a sudden finds confidence and says, "I'm trying to love myself way more," right? Most of the time what they do is this. They really, really become selfish. They don't find the nuance, the thin line between, having self-love and then also caring about other people. They tend to become very selfish. They jump to wait to the other side, like, I don't care about anyone. I just love myself. And they tend to use that as an excuse for a lot of, crap.
Yeah, a lot of bullshit they do. Yeah, basically.
They tend to use that as an excuse for a lot of, as my guy said, BS, how they pull, So yeah, self-love can indeed become selfish, but I think self-love is also very important.
In its pure nature, it's very important.
Self-love is, is the only cure we have against this chaotic existence.
True.
I think it's very important, so yeah.
How do you love yourself?
How do I love myself?
Yeah, that's a loaded one.
What involves loving yourself?
No, so however I think about you, right? I think that, so however I'll treat you, right? When you come to me with a problem, right, and you tell me, oh, I did this and I did that, right, and I feel so sad, I feel so bad, I really, want to do this. Most people would tend to motivate you and tell you it's going to be all right, all of that, right? So I see it this way. Whatever you tell someone to motivate them or to make them feel better, treat yourself the same way.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Give yourself grace.
Treat yourself the same way you would treat others when they're in need.
True.
And
True.
Don't look down on yourself. Don't be, don't look down on yourself.
Don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah, it's like...
yeah, with that one, he has a problem with it. He's hard on himself.
I am too. Very, very hard on. But sometimes you need
grace.
to sort of remind yourself to, just like, calm down. It's really not that bad.
Because it's the same way, maybe like when you ask someone to do something for you and they tell you, oh, I can't. You'd be like, oh, that's no problem.
Right.
You need to be able to tell yourself that if you have to do something and you know in your own capabilities you can't do that thing, that set thing, you need to also tell yourself, oh, yeah, it's all right.
But then we need to be careful because when we start doing that, we tend to slack.
Yeah, it could go wrong
if
very,
we do
very
that
quickly.
at law,
We think we're objective creators, but we are not.
We actually start to create excuses for ourselves.
Right, exactly. We think we are being objective, but sometimes when it comes to ourselves, we are not always being objective with ourselves.
No.
And we tend to create excuses for ourselves, why I didn't do this and why I didn't do that. But at the end of the day, you just didn't do it.
Yeah.
You translate that to, what are we talking about?
Yes, lost the whole life.
We translate it into the self-love thing.
Thank you. Into not, not going hard on yourself. I'm not saying go super hard on yourself, and obviously there needs to be a balance. A balance.
It's a thin line. It's a thin line.
Right. There has to be a balance, but then be careful.
I actually love that because just earlier this week I saw a post online which someone, I've forgotten the person who said that, but they were like, oh, they went to therapy and their therapist said treat yourself the way you treat others. And an example she gave was the therapist told her to hang a picture of herself, a very nice picture that she has of herself on her mirror, and then when something goes bad in their life, they go to the mirror, look at that and tell that picture, the person in the picture, what you want to say. Because if you are telling somebody the same thing, you should be able to tell yourself that. But because we are always in our minds and in our heads all the time, we tend to like slap ourselves in the face. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Meanwhile, you're not going to do that to somebody else. So if you take a picture, you're always seeing something. And I think...
Would you hang a picture on the mirror anyways? I mean, you can already see yourself.
Bro, that's not the point.
Yeah,
that's not the point.
How about this? So a therapist once told me that you should allow yourself to get angry in such a way that when someone does something that sometimes angers you, you should allow yourself to feel the anger. Why? Because anytime I step on your sneakers, you're like, oh, it's fine. But sometimes you should allow that anger to flow.
Sometimes it's not fine.
You just need to say, nah.
It's a form of self-love as well, right? Because the more you keep it inside yourself, the more you hurt yourself, and that person,
it's not good.
The person probably doesn't remember anything like that, right?
Yeah.
But once you express it, when you express what you're feeling, the person now knows, okay, this is what I did wrong, and the person is, probably will not do it again, right? So it's a form of self-love where you release the burden
yourself of that
burden as well. So
you don't add it to the pile.
Right. So it's not always about seeing people in a positive light and telling them, oh, you'll be all right. Sometimes you should allow yourself to get angry at people.
True.
That's also a form of self-love.
It's also a form of self-love,
obviously,
though.
Being angry, I'm not saying go and slap them.
There
should be
We're not
moderation.
doing that.
Like when someone crosses a boundary you've created, let them know.
Let them know.
Don't just let it go. Let them
Set
know
your
that
boundaries and stick to it.
Yeah.
True, though. Setting boundaries is actually a form of self-love. And there are a lot of people who actually don't know how to do that. Don't know when to say no to people, because saying no is actually a form of self-love. I read one time you say like, I said, do it intentionally. Say no for a day to anything anybody asks you, just so you learn to say no. Because sometimes when somebody asks you something, you're not the only person they can get it from.
Yeah.
They can get it somewhere else. You're not their lifeline. Except it's your kid, maybe. But
Yeah, then maybe.
Except it's your kid. You get me? But even your kid, you need to even learn to say no all the time. It's always a form of self-love for yourself saying, no, I can't give it. And it's fine.
And sometimes the reason is, I don't want to.
I don't want to. And I felt that's a perfect.
Sometimes it's good.
Sometimes it's good.
I've done this where mostly someone will ask me something and I always try to give an excuse as to why I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But sometimes the only reason I don't want to do it is I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
It could be fine sometimes. It's a good enough excuse not to do something. It doesn't mean you should be using that for everything.
Yeah.
Because it's a very nuanced thing. You need to be careful how you do it. Mm-hmm. But there are some times you just don't want to do it. And that should be a good enough excuse.
Mm-hmm.
I half agree with you.
How so?
No. I'm practicing how to say no.
Yeah.
Nah.
Hey.
Yeah.
I just like you to elaborate on what you... Okay.
Moving on.
I don't want to.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Bruh.
I mean, yeah, I understand where that is coming from.
Yeah.
Do you have any of your friends or people closer to you ever told you you're selfish?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
Did she tell you you're selfish?
No.
Just checking.
Bro, why did
Just
you turn
checking,
to
I'm
me?
just saying.
Why did you turn to me? What's your problem?
No problem.
Do you want to fight here?
Nope.
Okay. Good for you.
Because I don't want to.
Good for you. Good one there.
Yeah, man.
How?
Yeah, I think, okay, I personally didn't think I was being selfish.
Okay.
I was just communicating my boundaries, and they didn't like that.
Oh, okay.
That could have been the reason. It also could have been that I was being genuinely selfish, and I just didn't see it from my point of view. But something happened. The person was being kind of overly, I wouldn't say rude, but was crossing a few boundaries, which I had said before not to. And I told the person, like, don't do that. Let's not cross this. Mm-hmm. And they still went ahead to do it again, and again, and again. And at some point in time, I just said it in a very firm tone, like, no, if you keep doing this, I'm just gonna get up and walk out. And the person was like, why are you being rude? Why are you being selfish? We're just having fun. I'm like,
how is that selfish though?
Like,
sometimes it's just them. We're just having fun. It's a joke. It's just gaslighting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They know you have communicated that boundary. And sometimes people just want to test you as well.
Yeah.
To see how far you can go.
How far you would let them.
You let them go. And also just to see if you would actually just let go.
Yeah.
Because some people, they just test these things and then later they come back and say, oh, it's fine then. You just leave it. Because when somebody does something too many times, you tend to like just leave it and just let them do whatever they do. You get me? So it's just that. And I think communicating your boundaries in any tone is not selfish. Yeah. It's not at all.
I might have been overly rude than I should have been.
Rude, but not selfish.
I tend to be, but not selfish.
Not selfish, yeah.
Ali, I wouldn't know, so yeah.
Yeah. What are the faces you're making?
Oh no, it's just interesting perspectives. Because
you said no. Nobody has ever told you you're selfish.
No, that I've not in my face.
Not to your
not to your face.
Not to your face.
I thought you were about to.
Yeah, that's right. No. Really, no one has told me. Not to my face. Probably maybe behind my back for sure. But
do you think you have tendencies that make you selfish?
I think maybe this is just me being biased to myself, but I think I really am. I'm not really. I think I've not caught myself being selfish yet.
Okay.
I'm trying to say it's not a good thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing.
It's not a good thing that you haven't caught yourself being selfish, or it's not a good thing that you're not selfish.
It's not a good thing that I've not been selfish yet.
Oh,
because
you think it's something you have to experience once in a lifetime?
no,
or something?
I think it's sometimes you need to be selfish for your own self. You know, there's some things, you know, for example, if someone tells you, can you help me move this or something, and your health is in jeopardy, you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
You should say
You're basically dying, bro.
Yeah.
Relax. You know,
Yeah,
so
it's true.
you should be able to say no and be selfish.
Does that mean you shouldn't
it's a
go
bit-
out of your way for people?
Not go out of my life for people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly,
you
though.
know, there's a difference. I think you should absolutely go out of your way for people, but
There are some things you should
there
do
are some things-
just solely for the
Right.
benefit of someone
right.
else.
And I
That's
think,
fine.
in as much as people may think, oh, that's a good thing that I'm saying, I'm not being. I think it's actually a very bad thing that I should learn how to be selfish sometimes. You know, because it's like you give here, you give here, you give there. Not necessarily money, but you just your energy, time, whatever.
You're just tearing yourself apart.
You give, you know, pieces of you, and then there's nothing left. You know,
True.
you just, you know, there's nothing left for you yourself.
You need to love yourself a bit more.
You need to learn to sort of let yourself regrow, sort of get your energy back.
Yeah,
Let yourself
you know,
just-
and then
yeah.
those people are fine, and then you are the one that's messed up.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
That's actually true. But it doesn't mean like you need to forget that this exists.
Oh no, for sure. I'm just saying that sometimes it's like when it's like health issues, you know, you need to relax and then, you know, learn how to, you know,
Yeah,
for
of
example,
course.
for
If you
with
can't,
health,
you
right?
can't. Yeah.
If you can't, you just can't. But the problem with me is this: if I can't, I can. If you know what I'm trying to say.
You still go sort of out of your way to
So I
find
go
a way to do it.
find a way
Yeah.
to go and, you know, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know,
Which is not, you know, this is impossible.
Right.
I tend to do that a lot as well.
Yeah.
I
You know,
know literally it's impossible
it's
for me to do
impossible.
all of this in a day,
like
but
you could ask me for $1 million right now, and I know it's impossible. Don't ask me for $1 million.
but he'll go and find that million
You know,
that will
way
give
to
it
do
to
it,
you.
Yeah, I'll go and find. If I have to go and borrow, I'll go and borrow, and then I'll be in debt, and then you'll be okay. You know,
Okay,
That's
I
not a
think
good
that point-
thing. Yeah, that's not a good
not
thing at
That's
all.
not a good thing at all. That's very bad.
That's actually good. One question is, did you know that you can also be very selfish even when you think you're wholeheartedly helping somebody?
Yes.
Of course.
I mean, that's the whole idea of this notion of the nice guy syndrome. And nice guy thinks he's being a nice guy. He's doing something for someone. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's doing that. But he's not. He's not doing it for them. He wants something back. And if they don't get that thing back, that's when they usually tend to get angry and all of those kind of things. So I think that's the whole notion of the nice guy syndrome, where you give something always expecting something back. And when you don't get that thing, it goes horribly wrong. So yeah, I think you can. It could be that way. So yeah.
So, but when you are, for example, you are always like, just as you say, you're giving and giving your time, everything, and you one day tend to complain about the fact that
You've given a lot.
you're not getting anything back. It's not that you're expecting something from somebody particularly, but it's just you tend to just think, I give a lot, but I never get anything. Is this also something that, like, it's also selfish of you to actually ask of that?
Yeah.
I don't think it's selfish.
I don't think it's selfish.
I think.
Also,
I mean, you expecting to get something back because you give a lot. It should not be why you give. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So
yeah.
you expecting something in return because you think you're giving a lot. That is a bad reason, but to give.
To
Understand?
give, yeah.
So because if you keep doing that, then you only give not because it's out of your whole heart, but then you also expect something in
you
return.
just want
Sure.
it's a
You want to, it's
transaction
like
then.
quid pro quo. You know, I do you a favor, you do me a favor. But I believe that when you're giving to someone, give, right, without expecting anything in return, right. You're not giving to them for them to give it. The person is in need, that's you're giving it to them.
But it's okay to actually expect to also be a receiver somehow.
Oh,
True.
I think it's nice to be on the receiving end.
Yeah, but
But I don't
it
think
shouldn't be an
you should
expectation.
expect it.
No, it's not an expectation.
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I will give you 2 CDs right now,
You were too.
right? It's my favorite. It's my favorite money, by the way. If I would give you 2 CDs right now, right, and then I ask you for 2 CDs later on, and then you say no, and I ask you why, and then you say because I don't want to. He just said it's a good enough reason.
Yeah.
Do I still have to expect the 2 CDs and say you're selfish because you just said it's a good enough reason? I don't want to.
Sometimes a good enough reason.
Okay, so I don't
Say,
want to.
in the case of what you were saying, I'm tired, and you are asking me to move a couch or something like that, or asking me to do all of these heavy lifting or anything out of the ordinary I wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Is it good enough?
Why don't you just say I'm tired instead of I don't want to?
But do you also have to give a reason?
Do you have to?
You don't owe
explain
anybody
it?
a reason.
You don't owe anybody a reason, but it's nice to be diplomatic.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it is.
so you don't burn bridges, yeah. But
How do you bend
because at the
bridges
end of the
if you are
day-
trying to protect your? I
Because
don't want to.
at the end of the day, we are dealing with humans. Humans are imperfect. Humans are volatile. Humans are irrational, right? And very emotional creatures, right? So you can burn bridges without you knowing you are burning bridges. So what you have to do is always try your best to be fair to people and give them the best possible explanation as you can, right? And tell them, oh, bro, listen, I really would want to help you, but I'm too tired to do this right now, right? It's better than tell them because I don't want to. It's okay to tell them, you're entitled to tell them you don't want to, but then you've burnt a bridge there, right? Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's
That's a
like,
good point.
I think it's respectful to give them the actual reason why you are not being able to help them than to tell them because I don't want to. You know, it's like you're being cheeky.
What if you actually
being
don't want
sensitive.
to?
I see your point.
I see as well.
No,
yeah.
if you just don't
But-
want to, then I think you're being selfish.
Are you?
Yes, because there's no reason why you should not want to help them. You just don't want to do it. It's not because you're tired or anything like that. You just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we should go out of our ways to help people.
We should.
Sometimes we should.
We
But-
should.
But sometimes, say the person is asking something that's quite unreasonable. There's no other reason why you shouldn't be able to do this other than the fact that you don't want to do it.
Just
No,
don't
but
want
that's different though. You said it's unreasonable.
Yeah, but that's why I said sometimes it's a good enough reason.
But if you say unreasonable, right, then it negates everything. Then it's unreasonable. At the end of the
To
day,
To them, it could be a very reasonable thing
so
to ask.
you explain to them why it's not reasonable.
I don't think sometimes that's not really how it should go.
I think diplomacy goes a long way in life.
It
It
does.
does.
And to wrap this up, to say my piece. First of all, I think self-love is the best form of love. You can't. No one can love you more than you can love yourself.
True.
You know, allow
Maybe your mom, but yeah, that's a
allow
different
yourself. Your mom doesn't know you as much as you know you,
True.
right? She knows you, but no one knows you more than
You
people can
know
say,
you,
I know
yeah.
you. At the end of the day, people don't really know you like that. You understand? And so I think that self-love, you should love yourself just like you love your neighbors, right? You should also be forgiving to yourself, right? Which is one of the most difficult things in the world, to forgive yourself. It's also a form of self-love. All of these things, right? You know, it makes, as I said, a chaotic world, right? Beautiful, and also make a chaotic world, you know. That's reason enough to stay in this chaotic world. It brings peace to such chaotic world, because if there's so much chaos in you, right? You can't give. You can't do anything for other people. If you don't love yourself first, what type of love, when let's say you get in a relationship, what type of love are you going to give to me? You don't know how to love yourself.
Yeah.
understand?
You don't know what it is.
Charity, they say, begins at home.
Yeah.
So whatever love,
starts with you.
right? Whatever love you want to give to other people, but be it your mom, be it your dad, you need to learn to love yourself first, right? Before you can give that love outwards to people as well.
Yeah.
So I think self-love is very important.
That's what
as well.
love is, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, learn to
Giving
love yourself.
what you have, that love
Yeah.
you have within you, to others.
So yeah, if you don't love yourself, you can't do that.
Yeah.
To be able to give a piece of yourself to other people. So I think it's very important in life. One of the most important things in life, actually. I lied.
But
I'm watching an emotional moment.
and it's funny for
Hey,
It's like self-love.
yeah. Oh, but now I do also have to say this. I do also have to say this, where some people get lost in self-love, where they think, if I can't love myself yet, I can't love other people. Sometimes in loving other people, you learn to love yourself. So don't close yourself off from loving others just because you think you're not there yet.
You learn to love other people in the way they love you.
Yeah.
But that's how they love you.
But that's true though. But sometimes we get so lost in this self-love idea. We think we need to be perfect before we can love someone else.
You don't need to be. No one is perfect.
True.
But at least you need to. The basics is what you appreciate yourself.
Exactly.
You're not too hard on yourself. You forgive yourself for some things, right, that you do. Just like what you do unto others, do unto yourself.
True.
Right? When you have that, at the end of the day, you can share that emotion. You can share that love. Because love is a very strong emotion. You can share that to other people as well.
True.
And if you don't love yourself, in a way, you're dimming your light. And when you dim your light, it's a very dark place to be in the world when your light is dim. Yeah. You don't need to. You don't get to share the brightness, the joy you have in yourself to other people for them to experience it as well.
The people that love you can't see you.
They can't experience you for you in your full loving nature and your full joyful self. You don't live love. You don't live life to the max. You don't enjoy life as much as you're supposed to, because if you don't love yourself, what do? You hate yourself a bit. If love doesn't make you better, it makes you bitter. Do you understand?
Okay, and on that note,
if love doesn't make you better, it makes you bitter. That's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for having me.
And thank you all for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.